This week on The Recap with Damian Anthony, we discuss Donald Trump and his tax returns and anything but mint in Flint. Let's start with some billionaire blunders. Current presidential candidate and former reality TV star and comb-over enthusiast Donald Trump has recently released his tax returns following a lot of pressure from the mainstream media, as well as a lot of his own followers and followers of his opposition. It should come as no surprise that a lot of controversy accompanied the release of Donald Trump's tax returns. We're speaking specifically of a $916 million loss that was declared on his 1995 income tax return. That's $916 million with an M, close to $1 billion with a B. After some mismanagement of funds with his 3 Atlantic City casinos, Donald Trump found his investors losing a ton of money. They literally saw the disintegration of their stocks go from $35.50 all the way down to 17 cents in a matter of days. The controversy comes where such an extreme loss has permitted Donald Trump to not pay federal income tax over the course of the past 18 years. Many have been making the argument that this makes him an economic genius or in fact a clever businessman. Now, I personally would question such a thought because any clever businessman wouldn't have lost $916 million. In my opinion, Donald Trump could have literally paid his federal income tax and had a net gain. He could have put it under a mattress. He could have put it in a bank. Anything would have been better than strictly losing it. Now, coupled with such a high loss, I also come to question how many businesses has this man been responsible for losing? So I did some research and I found the following. Donald Trump has several failed business endeavors. They include the following: Trump Steaks, Trump Airlines, Trump the Board Game, Trump Magazine, Trump University, that's a popular one, Trump Vodka, Trump Mortgage, Trump Ice, Trump's New Jersey Generals football team, Tour de Trump, just to name a few. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't say this in an effort to slander this businessman, but you do have to call into question when you see some bullshit. The idea that this guy won't do exactly what he did with his own companies to our country is absolutely ridiculous. Do we really believe that a person who has championed for himself his whole life is automatically going to turn around and start championing for everyone else? I think not. That's what brings us to anything but mint in Flint. You may recall about a year and a half ago in the city of Flint, Michigan, where there was a huge water crisis. The Flint city government, in an effort to save some money, lost quite a substantial amount of capital. Human trust. If you recall, local officials made the decision to change water treatment. This ended up backfiring and poisoning quite a bit of the local population. Now, that's not all. A new bacteria has been found to be affecting the area quite substantially. A reported 53 cases in the city of Flint alone. This bacteria is called shigellosis. Shigellosis promises to render any victim incapacitated with bloody diarrhea. It's found to typically spread when people fail to maintain proper hygiene. That is, for example, not washing your hands. Now, you might be wondering, why aren't people washing their hands? So when your local government decides to change the water treatment and it affects an entire population, people seem to be shying away from using the water in Flint because they lack trust in their own water treatment system. And more importantly, they seem to lack trust in their local government. I mean, just imagine one day you're thinking, okay, I can just drink my faucet water, and the next day it's brown. Moving more into matters of the fecal, it's on to my next segment called Damian Anthony GPS. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's like Fareed Zakaria GPS, where he reports world news. That's actually false. Damian Anthony GPS is about discussing someone who's a giant piece of shit. This week on GPS, former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. That's right, former Mayor Lightbulb Head, once celebrated as a man who was the hero of 9/11. To me, now he's become quite the laughingstock, from yelling all kinds of obscenities and crazy shit at the Republican National Convention.
America! You know who you are! Greatness! Terrorism. Islamic extremist terrorism. Unconditional victory against them. Kill us. Killing us and our allies.
To claiming Trump is an economic genius for writing off his business failures, to claiming that everybody has extramarital affairs, then saying that Trumps are totally normal. Like, oh yeah, everybody's doing it, man. Just go right ahead. But then when approached on the topic of Hillary Clinton's husband and his infidelities, apparently that lacks leadership. For a guy that ran on a platform that was all about family values, let me tell you, he's fucking nuts. In fact, I'm not alone in thinking this about Mayor Rudy Giuliani. There's plenty of others that have commented on how crazy he's become, including a main contender in his life, his own daughter. That's right. Rudy Giuliani has moved from being a reasonable politician all the way to being on this week's giant piece of shit. Thanks for being our giant piece of shit, Rudy. Without you, I wouldn't have a segment.